Welcome to this week's episode of Safety Brainiacs. Today we're having a short safety talk on psychological first aid. In our current environment of change and the unknown, it's very possible that you could come across somebody who's feeling a high level of anxiety. Or it could be that there's been a serious incident or some other trauma where a person is having a psychological emergency. And did you know that having a person there that is calm and trained can actually make a big difference for that person? So if you do come across a person who is having a psychological emergency, meaning they're having a really high level of worry, anxiety, fear, the first thing is to stay calm. A really important thing is to not actually tell the person that everything will be okay. It's important to know that a person suffering a psychological emergency is in a state of high beta brainwaves, which means that their brain is firing incoherently and they're not even having the capacity to think clearly. So they're not even going to be necessarily hearing what you say at a rational level. So telling them that everything is going to be okay, they're probably not even going to hear that. They'll probably not believe you, and if they don't believe you, they won't trust you, and it's really not going to help them. So the best thing you can do to someone experiencing a psychological emergency is, number one, be present with them. Number two is slow your own tone down and your voice and speak calmly and slowly, and just focus on your own presence and just be with them. People experiencing any sort of a psychological emergency, in many instances they don't feel safe. So if there's things that you can do to make them feel safe, then that's critically important. Did you know that less than 20% of our communication is actually verbal? Most of our communication comes from our non-verbal cues. So the things that we don't say, our presence, our attention, our expression, the look on our face. So stay calm, let them know you're present, let them know you're going to be with them, you're going to support them, and you're going to find them help. In a psychological first aid emergency, people need connection and they need to feel compassion. They also need reassuring that what they're feeling is expected and that they can access social, physical, and emotional support. So being there with them shows that you're there to help and that they're not alone. When assessing your psychological first aid emergency, the first thing to do is take a good look around and make sure they're in a safe environment and a safe area. If you have multiple people, do your best to prioritize those that might need attention first. The next thing is to listen. So let them do more of the talking and just listen. Look for nonverbal cues and make sure that they know that you're there to receive their concerns and you're there to help them find assistance and support. And the next thing is to link them up with the supports they need. If it's a medical facility they need or professional psychological help, or you need to connect them back with their families, whatever it is that you can do to link them with the right supports is an important thing to do. A couple things to remember is that we are not psychologists, so do not try to figure out their psychological issues or problems. That's not your job. Also remember that the person's problems are not your problems. Do not take on their problems because that will cause you more stress. So be compassionate, but distance yourself from their problems. That's being empathetic, not sympathetic. So here's a quick list of some do's and don'ts. So do be honest and trustworthy. Respect people's right to make their own decisions. Be aware of and set aside your own prejudices. Make it clear to people that even if they refuse help now, they can still access help in the future. Respect privacy and keep the person's story confidential, and assure them that you will do that. Behave appropriately by considering the person's culture, age, and gender. Things that you should refrain from doing: don't exploit your relationship as a helper. Don't ask the person for any money or favors for helping them. Don't make false promises or give false information. Don't exaggerate your skills or force your help on people, and certainly don't be intrusive or pushy upon them. Certainly don't pressure people to share their story, and don't share any of the information they've given you with others unless it's medically or legally required for that person's highest and best interest. And certainly don't judge the person. So that's this episode of Safety Brainiacs. We hope that this short safety talk on psychological first aid is helpful. If you like our content, please subscribe in the link below and refer to My Safety Assistant. The first 5 users are free, and it can be full of content that'll help you through this time of COVID-19, people that are handling and dealing with psychological emergencies, etc. Remember, a safety brainiac is an exceptionally intelligent person, so go out there and make great safety choices so that everybody goes home safe and healthy at the end of every workday.